Thanks for joining us for the January edition of the Lee Schools TV podcast. I'm Rob Spicker, the Assistant Director in the Communications Department and your host today. Our topic for the podcast is the past, present, and future of Franklin Park Elementary School. Students are returning to a temporary portable campus this semester because their original school is being torn down and rebuilt. Our guest is the school's principal, Michelle Freeman. And Michelle, we want to thank you for joining us today. So you've been at Franklin Park for 5 years.
Yes.
That means you've led the school through COVID, most recently Hurricane Ian, and you're really still finishing up a move right now. Which one's the hardest?
Ooh.
Tough question.
That's a tough question. I would say for me right now would be the move, because there's a lot of moving parts and you don't always control those moving parts. So, yeah, I would say the move.
I think anybody that's moved would know how difficult it is and probably agree.
And I laugh because when you start moving and you say, why did I bring that? Why didn't I get rid of that? Or when things are not in the right place and now you got to go find it and put it in the right place. So, yeah, but it has been an experience, and an experience that we're all getting through.
Yeah.
I'll say getting through.
Getting through, right,
Yes.
right. So the rebuilding of Franklin Park, that's a promise that the district made back in the 2018 sales tax campaign. So here it is happening. It's got to be exciting.
It is. This morning was, I walked through the school with no one there. And I can tell you that it was a moment for me. I said, wow, this is really happening. It becomes very real. So, yes.
Yeah, when your hallways are empty and there's no noise.
There's no noise, and a lot of the rooms, there's nothing in them. The office is cleared out, and you have that moment of, you want to shed a tear, but you can't determine if it's sadness or happiness. So, yeah.
So let's talk about this temporary campus that's been installed for you, your staff, your students. Obviously, it's at a different location and it's going to have a different feel. But when students and staff are there, are they going to notice any real difference? I mean, the school day is going to essentially still be the same. What do you think?
Well, as far as our schedule goes, our schedule is still the same. I think for most people, it's going to be just learning the layout of the school. Where, where's the clinic? Where's the main office? Where do we go to get our mail? Some of the teachers are already asking that question. Where's the cafe? Where will our food come from? It's all of those moving pieces, but we are like a little city. We have just about everything we need right there on the campus. So, yeah.
Not everybody obviously has been there, but you've been talking to staff and families about this move. So what is, as your staff members thinking about a year and a half in a temporary campus? What are the families thinking about a year and a half in portables?
Well, everybody has, before they actually physically see it, you conjure up whatever your thoughts are as far as a portable goes. But I think once you actually walk in, and, a lot of the teachers, when they walked in their rooms, they were quite surprised. They're pretty large, they're more than adequate for our size school. The facility has been well thought out in terms of the layout. I think the teachers, once they get settled, get their things in, and they're doing that right now. Some of them have already started coming in before Monday because they want to get their rooms set up and everything. And then this is the time to do it because they have extra bodies around the campus to help out. So.
Well, you've got this disruption. The move is hard. But in the end, you're going to have a new campus.
Yes.
In big picture, that's got to be worth it.
Yes, it is. I often smile when I look at the layout of our new school. Part of it is going to be 2-story. We're supposed to get another large music room. Our library is going to be different. It's just going to be such an amazing experience walking back onto a brand new campus, somewhere that no one has ever been on. Although our design is one of the prototypes, it's a little different. Having the community center, that building is going to be amazing and state of the art. It's going to be set up for people that need food, if you need clothing, if you need health care, just about anything that they need, they can pretty much come there and see someone in regards to getting it, whether it's community or whether it's my families. So it's going to be quite unique.
Yeah, that community partnership, that you'll be the first true community partnership school when you reopen, with all those services right there for staff members and their families, students and their families, and even the community, as you were mentioning. I mean, that's going to be a real unique feature, but maybe also a real critical feature to your neighborhood.
Yes. Yes. For even for my staff, now that I think about that, my staff is also going to be able to use the facilities there. Think about having to you have a common sniffle, but now you have to get into a doctor, physically go there, take time off from work. Now, in between movement, you can go over and see the doctor, get a script, and then go right back to work if you wanted to do so. For my families, a lot of them don't have transportation. They don't have means to get into things. So for this to be accessible to them is a major thing for us, and I'm looking forward to it.
What else should families and staff expect and look forward to in your new campus?
Let's see. I would say, that's a good question. Of course, it's going to be like any other school, except for the community center.
Yeah.
I think that we're including a lot more color. I think that a lot of our schools don't have murals and color. So that's going to be something that's unique to it. Also, one of the things that we engaged the community with is the bricks. We didn't want to take the brick away from the school. That was one of the major things that when we had our forums, the community wanted to feel like it was still a part of the community. And one way we looked at doing that is having the bricks done. So our community members are getting bricks, and they're going to be engraved with their names and the years that they went, and any other things that they want on them. And those bricks will be laid back into the school some way, rather it is a walkway or a part of the school itself.
Yeah, and that's a nice feature and a good way to make sure you're bringing everybody in. You've been really involved in this process. You mentioned the colors. I suspect some of that is your inspiration. Do you anticipate staying that involved throughout? Now we get to demolition and then construction?
Oh, yes. I think it's important. I think that, will I understand and be a part of every single thing? Probably not. But for a lot of the meetings and a lot of the decisions that's taking place, I tend to be there. I want to make sure that what people ask for, that we are somewhat delivering that. This has been a long time coming for the community, and we want to make sure that we are delivering a beautiful building that they can be very proud of.
You mentioned that community in Franklin Park really has a deep history there in Dunbar. Quickly to go through it, it opens up in 1958. It's an all-black elementary school at the time. Becomes integrated into middle school in the 70s. Closes for a couple years at the end of that decade, and then reopens again in the early 80s as the middle school it is today. And it's just a central part of so many lives in Dunbar, isn't it? Because of how long it's been there. I mean, a who's who of Dunbar residents have probably gone, taught, had children there, some connection to Franklin Park Elementary.
Oh, of course. You have City Councilwoman, Dr. Ann Knight. She was a former teacher. You have Melvin Morgan, who was a county commissioner. You have Miss Chapman. She was a teacher there. And I believe the current Shadrika McIntosh, she's a former student. I believe it's Dr. Shadrika McIntosh. So, I mean, there are some names of very prominent people that have either went there, taught there, or had their children there. So I always say that Franklin Park is the heart, I believe, of Dunbar. Others may say different, but I believe Franklin Park is the heart.
And that therefore becomes important for you to carry that on into the new school, to make sure that those folks are included. So you mentioned the bricks. Those are the bricks that the buildings currently have. Are there other steps you might be taking to preserve that history or bring traditions back over to the new school?
Well, we are hoping that we will figure out how to do a platen of the maypole. We wanted to look at the different colors and actually, once we open back up, try to do it. Hopefully it'll happen, but you know how that goes. That was one of a major tradition many years ago. One of the things that the community asked about was our covered pavilion, as you know. Mm-hmm. When we became a middle school, that is when the covered pavilion, known as the gym, was there, and that was a major thing. They wanted to make sure that stayed on that campus, and the district honored that it would be there. So I think that for a lot of our community, when they walk back onto that campus, there's going to be such a level of pride to have a brand new building that generations after generations will be able to come to, and from the community.
You know, a good teacher can teach anywhere.
Yes.
But everything's all shiny, nice, and bright and new. I imagine that probably will lift their spirits and probably the children as well, because it could be, just everything is new. And that'll add an excitement, maybe, to the students, to your staff, and really help elevate your school.
Yeah, you have, I have teachers that have never worked in a brand new school. I have kids, of course, that have never been to a brand new school. And it's just like getting a new house or a new car. It smells new. You want to make sure everything stays shiny and pretty. And it just gives you a sense of pride. So, yeah.
Yeah, nobody wants that first scratch or first scuff in their room or on their floor or to be the one who caused it.
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
You recently had your fifth graders compile a time capsule so that could be a part of an element of the school as well. What time was like during this transition. You were really proud of what the kids put together, weren't you?
I was very proud of them. They really thought through it. They thought about things that happened in history. They thought about themselves and who they are right now as a fifth grader. Many of them contributed things that I didn't think they would give up. They gave up, game disc and phones and different things. Please, do know that parents said it was okay. We made sure of that.
Of course.
But for a child that age to give something for the next generation to see, that's a major accomplishment. So they did it. I was very proud of them.
So now you got to find a place for it. And 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road, somebody will open it up and see what it was like in 2022, 2023.
It's my understanding that there is another time capsule on that campus. And I'm hoping as they're digging up the soil that they may come across it. I think that the class, it was in the 1990s that they buried it. So hopefully we'll come across it.
I remember you mentioned that. You've done some looking for it and couldn't find it.
We've been trying to find it. Yes.
So you'll have to, maybe you can find it, hang on to it, and as you bury the new one, open the old one to see. You can make a little comparison. How nice. Now, kind of before I get to what I think is my last question, you have a really great tradition at your school on the first day of school to welcome the kids back. Tell those who aren't familiar with your welcome ceremony, what you do and why you do it.
Oh, wow. So this is prior to me, and it was about getting gentlemen on the campus so that our young men could see men that are doing things in the communities, their fathers, their grandfathers, their commissioners, their judges, they're all walks of life, and we wanted them to physically see all of these people. And of course, ladies wanted to be a part of it, although it's called the Gentleman's Welcome. We do have ladies that come onto the campus, and basically they celebrate our students, welcome them back to a new year, and trying to encourage them to do their very best, of course. It's normally almost about 200 people on campus, and it is something to see. It is an amazing event. It really is a great way to kick off the new year, and everyone looks forward to it. I can tell you, everyone looks forward to it. Before the summer can get in, I'm already getting emails. Okay, are we having it? Yes, we're having it. So I know everybody's going to be like, okay, what is this going to look like at Portable City? It's like, oh, well. I think that we still can pull it off. I think that it is a tradition that we want to continue. I think it's a tradition that everyone looks forward to And they put it on their calendars.
Yeah.
They put it on the schedules.
Also important for kids of that age to just visualize who they could be, and they don't know who they could be if they haven't met them. So this is an opportunity, as you said, all walks of life, all professions are there to greet them.
Yes,
Some in uniform, some not in uniform, just wearing their clothes or wearing a suit because they're on their way to work, whatever it may be.
Yes, it is. It is a beautiful thing. And you'll see people, they're standing up, and when the kids come through, their faces just light up. It's like, oh my goodness, all these people are here for me.
Yeah.
So, and they're high-fiving them and they're telling them have a great year. So it's magical. It's something to see.
All right, so now it is August of 2024.
Oh.
First day of school, new campus, gentlemen's welcome. What is Michelle Freeman going through and thinking that morning?
Wow. This has been a long time coming, and I'm sure that I will be filled with such pride, a lot of jitters, because everybody coming back that first day. I don't know, just wanting the community to be there to wrap their arms around us like they normally do, to cheer everybody back in and welcome us back to our new campus, to come onto the campus and see what it looks like. Yeah.
You might have 500 people for the ceremony instead of 200.
You know what? Tell them come on. I would have no problem with having anyone that wants to come and be a part of that first day.
Yeah.
I'm sure I can only imagine it at this point. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be something to see when that day comes.
I agree. Looking forward to it already myself. I think it'll be fantastic.
Oh my goodness. It's going to be, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
You see the smile on my face. It's just,
Yep.
It's really a moment to cherish, that the community allowed me to be a part of this transition for them. I don't take it lightly. I think that it's history being made for them, and I'm just humbled to be a part of it.
No, it's gonna be great. You got 18 months of the interim, but you can't get to the end unless you start at the beginning, and that's where you're at.
Yes, sir.
Well,
yes,
we wish you the best. We look forward to that August 2024 ceremony at the brand new Franklin Park Elementary School.
And thank you for having me.
Much appreciated, Michelle. Thanks for joining us today, and thanks everybody for joining in as well, learning more about the new, old, and present Franklin Park Elementary. We will be back next month with a new edition of the Lee Schools TV podcast.